Right, yeah, there we go. I thought we had some technical issues. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining again. We're going to be talking a lot of information tonight. There is some disappointing news, in my opinion. There was a lot of news going around about two possible signings in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, but we're going to go dive into that again. We do have Josh on the channel again, so welcome to the channel, pal. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. I mean, after the draw against West Bromwich Albion, how did you feel about that? Was you a bit disappointed? Was you upset, or was you pleased with, in a sense, the progress that has been made on the pitch so far?
I think it feels like a while ago now, but yeah, it were a great game. It were a really great game. I think there were some standout performances. I were expecting a draw, I think, I'll be honest. But it were a good game. I think there was some standout players. Dan James was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Ampadu again, brilliant. Joe Rodon were brilliant. So yeah, it were really good.
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously clear indications of where we needed to improve, wasn't there? With in a sense the lack of the attacking third. Of course, we've got Joel Perot now, which we're going to be talking about, and hopefully we're all excited and we're on the same page. But I guess from the transition from Jesse Marsh and Javi Gracia and Sam Allardyce, I think Leeds United are going in the right direction, don't you? Especially when it comes on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really bleak at the start of the season. It were really negative, and I think it's starting to get better. I definitely think so. Through transfer news and just the performance were quite convincing. I thought last week. I think it were going in quite a good way. I
Yeah.
think I think we are really starting to just get together now. We could be going on a good route for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's nice to see, isn't it, with possession back at the club again, and just that attacking. Because with Victor Orta just taken away or appointing Jesse Marsh and Sam Allardyce, it was going miles away, wasn't it, away from what Radrazani wanted to implement at the club, and that was a Bielsa way, with high intensity, with passing, with attacking, with attacking threat, and it just wasn't meant to be for these types of managers. From going from with Jesse Marsh, who was a very attacking manager, but it just excuse me, it just wasn't suited for the Premier League. And then Javi Gracia, I thought he started off very well, and then as well Sam Allardyce, it was just completely the other direction. So it's, in my opinion, it's with the appointment of Daniel Farker and with the statement of the 49ers bringing in Perot, it's been a huge boost to the morale around Ellen Road, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the signings alone have just completely switched the mood within the community. I think everyone's quite positive now. I think the news around the club, especially this week, has been quite positive. It's been a week, thankfully, that's not been that many negative issues, which is really good.
Yeah, I mean as well, it's also nice to see, like Paul says here, it's at least United have stood up to teams trying to put their asking price up and pretty much getting rid of all the dross and pretty much standing the ground and using the bully tactics, to in a sense keep players at the club who they want to stay, and trying to bring in players who, in a sense, I personally wouldn't ever think Leeds United would go out and sign that. And this is where the whole Joe Perot signing comes in, because I don't know how you felt when you saw the news of Joe Perot, but I was talking to someone at work actually today, and I was like, this doesn't feel real, because me and you, we never really got to experience the really big players like Mark Viduka and Alan Smith, and people don't like it when I say like Harry Kewell and Tony Yoroboa and stuff, So people who was, in a sense, living through later life, they got to experience bigger players. And to me, I think Joel Perot is a huge player.
No, definitely. You're completely right. I mean, this is the first signing in a while, maybe since maybe Rafinha, but the first actually really positive signing. I mean, 50 goals or assists in 2 seasons we've actually signed a really solid player, I think. And Swansea fans won't be happy about that. I've seen in Instagram comments, but I think we can really be good at attacking wise this season.
Yeah, exactly, and exactly like with Karen saying now we're going in the right direction. I think that's completely true because I personally think going down to the Championship was a blessing rather than staying up. Excuse me, because first of all, the 49ers, yes, they've got a lot of money, but they would have had to have bought Leeds United, what was it, like 400, 500 million pounds? So, in a sense, buying them for about 170 million quid, getting rid of all the players that we didn't need, all the dross, all the players that, in a sense, didn't deserve to play in the Premier League, because like signing Brendan Aarons for 25 million pounds, it's just ridiculous. And obviously, that German centre attacking midfielder Amari, or whatever you call him, £4 to £5 million. You know, it's thievery. We shouldn't be, in a sense, linked to these types of players in the Championship. So to me, I think with the 49ers taking over Leeds United while in the Championship, I think it's going to be a very stressful season. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I think it's a very fantastic project to be in. So,
I know what you mean by that. I guess a lot of people obviously won't like being relegated. It's completely understandable, but looking long term, it's looking much more positive. And if we stayed in the Prem one more year and probably got relegated again, you know, you really starting to see what Farkas and people behind the scenes are starting to build within the club. It's looking good as well. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we of course we can sit here and we can speculate and say everything that we've just said, but as well, if we was to be still in the Premier League, I wonder what type of manager would have come in. I wonder if we would have signed Iriola, because obviously we all know he went to Bournemouth, so maybe that could have been a possibility. And as well, it's like I wonder what type of players we could have attracted while being in the Premier League. But if we would have had to go out there and keep the players like Christensen, Llorente, and Adams, and and Robin Koch, could you see anything? Any improvement if we was to keep these players, or do you still think we would have been in like a relegation battle? Because I would have thought we would be still like down in the bottom half.
Yeah, I mean, no, we would have been, in my opinion, completely 100%. I think we went through multiple managers last season. They showed they were adaptable to play under different styles. Some players, especially Rasmus Christensen, I mean, they just were completely flop signings, in my opinion. I don't think they were great at all, short term or long term. You know, all of them got loaned out at the end of the season, so it's bad on the club's part. But now, yeah, just going back to what you said, being relegated is a blessing in disguise, really, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, I know the 49ers will have the parachute payments, and then we got the money for Tyler Adams. So I wonder what the plan was by Victor Orta in the moment, because obviously we've put in the loan deals in his release clauses. Was it just in case we was to go back into the Premier League and we could sell these players on, so we would get the money back, so we could reinvest again? Or do you think it was just, in a sense, an escape route for the players, and in a sense, they were thought bigger than the club?
Yeah, I mean, maybe really just speculative. I think it's more of an abandoned ship situation. You know, you get relegated, you can just go. It's simple as that. So it's good on their end. It's not positive for the club, and maybe in that way that shows some stubbornness by the club. You know, let's put in a relegation clause, which probably won't happen because we're going to stay in the league and we're going to do good. Clearly, you know, history shows that was completely wrong.
Yeah. I mean, Jacob says here, it's a shame we couldn't just sell them on, but after a bad season, no one really wants them. Hopefully they have a decent season elsewhere ready for selling next season or keeping as they improve. So, and this is what as well, I think we discussed this in a previous video, didn't we, where the price tag of these players could go up depending on the season that they have. Of course, it's risky, It's like a risky investment because if they have a poor season, then we're probably going to end up losing the valuation of what we've already paid for him. We all know that Mark Rocker, he tried to get a permanent deal over to Real Betis. That's probably going to be done. Brendan Aronson will probably going to be leaving. Max Vober, Robin Koch, all these players as well. I think we could accumulate to about £100 million if we do manage to sell him next season. And if that's the case, then I don't see any issues with being able to build a solid squad. And this is where I wanted to ask you: so where do you see Patrick Bamford now, after signing Joel Perreault, or even any other forwards at the club? Like where do you see this happening? Where going?
I mean, I haven't really thought about that, but it's a good way to. It's just a good conversation point. I think Patrick Bamford now, we know he's been gone. His ability's been, just declining for quite some time now. If he gets a transfer out, it's not going to be expensive. We know that, but maybe just if some people say, the passionate people in the club, just keep him because he's been here for a while. Yeah. But I think if we want to move on long term, we need to we need to get rid of the players that, kind of put us in the situation.
So is that you saying that you'd sell him?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just not going to affect the, long-term effect to the club. He really isn't. So keeping him here is just giving him wages, really, for coming week in, week out, doing not much.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we was to give him maybe one more season, because obviously we don't really have any other senior players, because we've got Mateus Joseph, we've got Sonny Perkins, who's recently just gone out on loan, Joe Gelhardt as well. So if we was to sell him this year, I don't really see us really having any depth, because we've struggled, haven't we, for depth all year, or even last year. Yeah, I mean, the bringing in attacking positions is just what we need, and I'll keep reiterating this, but it needs to be said that we needed attacking players. It's good that the club have gone out and done that. Now we can really start moving forward instead of this just constant spiraling, just negative energy around the club, which is really good to see, actually. Yeah, well, I'm going to put a bit of a downer on things right now, because obviously we're talking about transfers. So I don't know if you've seen, but we've got Perreault done, fantastic. Amiri, I'm not good at pronouncing foreigners' names, but according to Kicker, I don't know how reliable these are, but they predicted the deal with Perreault, but they've pretty much said that, according to Kicker, he is now unsure if he wants to move over to Leeds United due to his family and him always living in Germany. So I think he's having cold feet of joining Leeds, because obviously. Yeah, I saw that post earlier. Apparently it's personal reasons. I mean, I don't know, like you just said, how reliable the source is, but apparently he's going to be playing in the game tomorrow against Gladbach. So if he is in the lineup, I think, it's probably not going to happen, to be honest, because clearly his intentions are that he still wants to play. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit disappointing in my opinion, isn't it? Because with how well he's performed this year, because I did a little bit of research on him before before coming live, and he's got 2 goals and assists in 4 games this year already, which is great. But the one thing that I'm a little bit disappointed about is the simple fact of he's a little bit like Pablo Hernandez. He's Pablo-esque, in my opinion, with his ability to pick a pass out, which no other player can see. He can, in a sense, glide. He's a very, very technical dribbler, very good on the ball, and he's very dynamic as well. So this is the type of player who would suit the Daniel Farke system massively, with the intensity and his philosophy. But it's like Karen just said here, it's like I can't see it happening. I think it's going to be one of these transfers where it's like, yeah, everything's going to be done, everything's dusted, but I think the player's going to have cold feet, and I think this deal isn't going to happen. So do you think the 49ers are going to go out there and try and bring in a centre attacking midfielder, maybe like Lewis O'Brien, or bring Cameron, or I mean, Cameron's more of a centre defensive midfielder, I think. Or do you think that they've got some more players behind closed doors?
Yeah, I think in general, it's just good that we're going for players that are above the standard that we're in right now in terms of the league and stuff. So I think maybe we can. I don't know how many days there are left of the season. I don't think there's many though. But
I think it's 7 in there.
He has got cold feet, definitely. I don't really see why you'd want to move. I mean, maybe it's the project, maybe, but being a top club side in Bundesliga, I don't really know why you'd want to move from that. So yeah.
Well, this is what I was thinking as well. It's like playing in, like I don't know if they're in Europe or not, but it's like if they was playing in Champions League, qualifying for like the Bundesliga title, playing at a high level, and then in a sense accepting a bid from Marseille. It's a bit difficult, isn't it, to think, okay, well, he's going to drop down from a big club like Bayer Leverkusen, not go to Marseille, one of the big clubs in France, and then come to the Championship with Leeds United. Of course, it's an exciting project, but it's the Championship, it's not the Premier League,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to have to keep updated with what happens with Mary, but right now it's not looking great. I mean, we saw the Fabrizio tweets and stuff about Mary a couple of days. I don't know what's happening. Hopefully we're all right. I don't know what is happening. I think it might be on my end. Hopefully you can hear me now. Is this good? I have no idea what is going on. Is this good? What is happening? I have no idea. Technical difficulties, apparently. I think I'm alright. I can hear myself on stream, so I don't know what's happening. Can you hear me? Completely muted. I cannot hear you, mate. Completely muted. I don't know what's going on here.